Hey there, I'm the Spectre, and I'm here presenting my new product, the Difficultyometer. Life too easy for ya? Want a challenge? Just slide the meter over and you can make life as hard or as easy as you want. Let's try by sliding mine to hard. Anytime now. What's that you say? My parents are dead, my house burned down, and my bank account has been hacked? Awesome, it works! The idea of a difficulty meter in a video game is a rather controversial topic in the gaming community for some reason. Usually discussed under the "should Dark Souls have an easy mode" topic, it is a really split issue. While many people think difficulty meters are pointless at best and ruin games at worst, I and many others believe that they can add to a game. Today, I'll be discussing why I believe difficulty meters should be in every game they can. Now, note how I said every game they can be in, not every game in the world. It doesn't really make sense for difficulty settings to be in certain games, such as platformers, where in order to alter the difficulty, you would have to outright change level design, as opposed to just making enemies smarter or stronger. However, in games where changing the difficulty is as easy as altering the damage an enemy deals, difficulty settings should be present. Another thing I want to clarify is that having an easy and a hard mode doesn't necessarily mean the game will be easy or hard, simply that it will be easier or harder than the normal mode. Without further ado, let's get into the reasons why. There is no denying that the gaming community has drastically varying skill levels. Some people can play Smash Bros. Competitively, others can barely play at all. Some people can speedrun Mario platformers, others die to the first Goomba. Having difficulty settings in applicable games allows nearly everyone to enjoy the game, from a younger player whose only experience with video games was Sonic X and the Leapfrog Leapster, to a veteran player who's beaten Contra without using cheat codes or the spread gun. Take for example, Skylanders. The Skylanders franchise is mostly known for pandering to kids, what with the toys and all, but it is able to be enjoyed by all audiences with a wallet because of difficulty settings. A younger fan can play the games on easy mode, while an older fan like myself, and probably just myself, can play through on hard or even nightmare mode, and enjoy the game in a difficulty that best suits them. The nightmare mode especially kicks my butt, jeez Louise. Who remembers Pokemon X and Y? Oh, I sure do, and it's for the complete wrong reasons. The 6th generation of Pokemon, and to a lesser extent the 7th generation, are heavily criticized for being way too easy to the point where it ruins the game for some people. I go more in depth with the Pokemon franchise's difficulty problem in this video. The likely reason for this is that Nintendo and Game Freak want to pander to a more casual audience, and with the recent reveal of Pokemon Let's Go Kill Ourselves, it doesn't seem likely that they will stop anytime soon. But you want to know what could fix this? A difficulty system, of course. The only Pokemon games in the franchise that have one thus far are Black and White 2, and their addition of a difficulty system was praised, so why not do this again? This would allow Nintendo to pander to both new and veteran fans, and it would fix the problem that ruined the more recent games in the franchise for people, as if you found the games too easy, you could just crank up the difficulty. I used Pokemon as an example, but this could apply to many other games, such as the Kirby franchise. The most notable Kirby game for this would be the most recent game, Kirby Star Allies, which gets flack for being ridiculously easy even in comparison to other Kirby games. Adding a difficulty setting that would change the amount of damage enemies deal would make the game much more enjoyable for certain audiences. So, not only can a difficulty setting make a game more accessible, but it can even make otherwise boring games better. The best reason for having a difficulty setting is probably the simplest. Why not? It doesn't take a lot of effort to slightly change a property of an enemy. One of the most common arguments I see for games to not have difficulty settings is because that's not how it's meant to be played. If you really care that much about difficulty being exactly how it's supposed to be, there's something called a normal mode, a difficulty setting where the game is played in its original state. No reason to ruin other people's fun, because you like things to be perfect and special just for you. Another argument I frequently see is that certain games sell themselves on their difficulty, which is stupid. There are plenty of other ways to make your game more notable that takes more effort to do, such as, good level design, interesting stories, or fun gameplay mechanics. And again, if you really care, as I stated earlier, an easy mode doesn't necessarily mean the game is easy as much as it means it's easier than the other options, so you really have no reason to complain. Overall, difficulty settings add to a game. They make the game more accessible to a wider audience, make otherwise boring games fun, and if you really hate them, you can play on normal and shut up. Hopefully, I've been able to change some of your minds on the issue. If you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'm more than open to debate, but don't be a dick about it. Keep things civil down there. This has been the Spectre, and remember to have fun, stay safe, and my hat's on fire, isn't it? I think this thing works a little too well. Glad that's over with. Now let's try and get this thing to work. I forgot to set it back to easy, didn't I? Ah, thank you, some light. Wait, shit!